Hey everyone, welcome to This Explainer. When we learn the story of the United States, we usually get this super linear, straightforward narrative. But let's be real, history is never just a straight line, right? It's way more like a massive, complex tapestry. So today, we're going to trace a specific, somewhat hidden thread that's been woven right into the nation's fabric literally from day one. We're going to see how the story of Islam is, honestly, in many ways, just the story of America itself. Okay, let's dive into this. When you think of American history, your mind probably jumps straight to the greatest hits. You picture the founding fathers in Philadelphia, the rugged expansion of the gold rush, or the defining moments of the civil rights movement. Those are the eras we all know. But contrast that with a hidden thread, Islam. It so often gets left entirely out of these mainstream historical discussions, yet its presence was absolutely there, quietly but powerfully shaping the nation right alongside those major eras. We're going to challenge a few preconceived notions today and really unpack this overlooked narrative. Here is a quick look at our roadmap for today. First up, America's early encounters. Second, the 20th century shift. Third, modern Muslim American identity. And finally, the broader American story. All right, Section 1, America's early encounters and the roots of a hidden thread.
30%. That is a massive number. Historians actually estimate that up to 30% of the enslaved Africans brought across the Atlantic to North America were Muslim. When we talk about early American history, we absolutely have to acknowledge the sheer, heartbreaking scale of this demographic. Down those brutal transatlantic trade routes, people weren't just bringing their physical labor, they carried their beliefs, their traditions, and their deep-rooted faith. This 30% figure shows us just how deeply embedded Islam was in America from the absolute beginning.
Now, it's really easy to get lost in sweeping statistics, so I want to humanize that data for a second. Think about specific individuals, brilliant thinkers and scholars like Omar ibn Said. He was an enslaved man who actually left behind his own autobiographies written completely in Arabic right here on American soil. Just imagine the sheer resilience it took to preserve your own language, your literacy, and your faith under the unimaginable cruelties of enslavement. Tangible historical documents like Said's writings prove that the Islamic faith was a living, breathing reality in early America.
And this brilliantly illustrates how this faith intersected directly with the nation's founding, too. As the country was literally being built, its leaders were actively engaging with the Islamic world. Thomas Jefferson, obviously one of the principal architects of American democracy, he famously owned a copy of the Quran. And he didn't just have it sitting on a shelf for decoration. He kept it in his private library to actively study it, specifically in the context of religious freedom and international law. The very principles being debated at the birth of this nation were deeply informed by global texts, including the Quran.
Let's move to and see how this builds into the 1900s. Section 2, the 20th century shift, a powerful resurgence. Tracking through the timeline, in 1934, we see the physical cementing of communities with the construction of the Mother Mosque of America, built right in the heartland of Iowa, by the way. Then, moving into the mid-1900s, we witness the incredible rise of African-American social justice movements intertwining directly with faith. And finally, a massive legislative turning point hits in 1965 with the passage of the Immigration Reform Act. During this mid-century era, growth was basically happening on two powerful parallel tracks. On one side, we have the African-American movements. We're talking iconic figures like Malcolm X and Muhammad Ali, who championed their faith with this inseparable pillar of both social justice and personal identity. They literally brought the conversation of Islam right into the mainstream American movement. Then, on the other side, we've got the structural impact of that 1965 immigration reform. This law fundamentally changed the demographics of the country, opening doors globally to a huge wave of new arrivals from South Asia, the Middle East, and Europe. Let's break down the impact of that 1965 reform just a bit more, because it was a total game changer. By welcoming new arrivals from South Asia, opening up immigration doors to the Middle East, and bringing in immigrants from Europe, the United States essentially transformed American Islam almost overnight. It wasn't just a growing community, it became this uniquely global tapestry. Because of these distinct paths converging, American Islam evolved into one of the single most diverse religious communities anywhere in the world, all coexisting right in the nation's borders. Which brings us to today. Section 3, Modern Muslim American Identity, Balancing Tradition in Everyday Life. Now, what's really interesting here is the sheer scale. Today,
over 3.4 million Muslims live in the United States. I mean, wow. That is a massive, vibrant community representing a completely vital part of the modern American demographic. We started this explainer talking about a hidden history, but this is a prominent everyday reality. And you see that reality everywhere you look. In professional sectors, Muslim Americans are leading as pioneering scientists, influential politicians shaping our public policy, and celebrated athletes representing the country on the global stage. Out in broader society, they're driving grassroots community organizing and heavily influencing pop culture. What we see today is just a beautiful, seamless balance. It's the ability to hold on to rich, traditional values while simultaneously living, shaping, and totally thriving in everyday American life. And that leads us right to our final section. Section 4, the broader American story, weaving the tapestry. So, the crucial point is this. Understanding this hidden history fundamentally enriches how we view our entire shared tapestry. You just can't fully grasp the American story if you pull out the threads you don't immediately recognize, right? From enslaved individuals holding fast to their beliefs in the darkest of times, to founding fathers studying international texts, to civil rights icons fighting for justice, to the millions of everyday citizens contributing to society today, it reminds us that America is, and always has been, a wonderfully complex, diverse weave. We've covered centuries of history in just a few minutes, which is kind of wild. But it leaves us with a profound realization. We only study the threads we already recognize, we literally never see the whole tapestry. So, what part of this history surprised you the most? I'd love to hear your thoughts, so let us know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you in our next explainer.